Um, I'm starting my next semester, the 15th of January, and so I've already bought my books. Of course, I'm an addict, so don't tell my kids because I'm addicted to it, and I'm like I'm excited to go back to school already. So I went ahead and bought my book. So there's a book that I'm taking next week. It's called Leadership Theory. That's the class I'm taking, and of course, the book is called Leadership Theory and Practice, and it breaks down in a nice like graph, right? Because we've been talking about this table rather, management and leadership, and it was talking about how management is about the planning, the budget, where leadership establishes the direction. And so I think that's a good segue. And it talked about this, Shane. I thought this was cool that you need both. An organization needs both managers and they need leaders, right? Because an organization that just has managers will never have a vision and will never have a direction, and an organization that just has leaders will really won't be successful, right? They'll never get anything done or to fruition because you're just having people, whereas the leaders just casting the vision, creating the vision, communicating the goals, whereas the managers are the execution phase.
Yes, and you definitely need both. There needs to be personally, I think there needs to be an equal
Mm,
amount of both. I think it really needs to be 50-50, right? So you've got to have, half vision and then half execution, right?
yeah,
So, or 100-100, you need 100% of your leaders to be fully focused on the vision, the goals and whatnot, and kind of establishing the direction or the road where the company is going.
mhm,
Or the institution or whatever it is that you're leading. And then you need your managers to be able to follow through on that and
yeah,
be able to fully execute. And I think that's super important. Really, with any job, right? With any job, with any institution, any business, even in your home, right? You've got to be able to have a vision, and
mhm,
then you've got to be able to execute. And
yeah.
everyone needs to be able to contribute to that greater good.
I agree. And you know what? And that brings me to another point that I always try to have a retrospective look, one at my life, two at my leadership, and then like three at my team, right? And my team impact. And when I look at previous positions that I've been in, I was in a position, Shayna, where I was primarily asked to be a manager, right? Tasked to be a manager. And without having the leadership component, right? Just like be a manager about the task, about the assignment, and that's it. And for a person like me that leans heavily, heavily into leadership, right? Where I seek commitment, I'm building the teams and coalition. I'm clarifying the big picture. I'm creating a vision. I love to inspire and energize. And having a person like me only have manager tasks, right? Where I'm very structured, where it's very structured, where it's about timetables and timelines and establishing the agendas. That was a hard role for me because that is not my strength, right? That is not my natural strength. My natural strength is completely in leadership.
So how did you balance that?
Oh my God. Now let's have some transparency for a minute.
Have some transparency because I feel like there's gonna be people listening that are like, "Hey, that's me right now."
Oh,
So
Shayna,
how did you manage that?
I hated it. I'm gonna be very transparent. It's like I'm almost 46. I'm gonna be transparent. I hated it because I was not able to be who Yvette is. I was not able to, they just wanted it black and white, this and that's it, right? Literally, like, okay, you make the agenda, that's it. You make the schedule, that's it. You make the timeline, that's it. But I said, I have so much more. Like, there's so much more to me. Can I help? Like, can we move this thing along? I have a vision of where we can go. I have a vision of how to do things better. I have some strategies. When I it didn't match with who I was, and I would tell you that was the absolute worst position I've ever been in because I wasn't Yvette. Like they wanted just a manager and that's it. And those are not my natural skill sets. And I learned, and that's why I coach people, right? Find out what your strengths are, find out what your skills are, because if you don't, you're going to be very unhappy. Like I hated life and I was so unhappy. So I had to move along. And that's the truth, right? I'm going to be very transparent about I had to move along because it didn't fit me. it did not fit me. So yeah, I had to leave.
But I think we've touched upon this point before too, where we have talked about, I think you said move up, over, and out in one of our episodes, right?
Exactly.
So what I teach people to do is, hey, if you're in that miserable job that you're just kind of forced to do this one thing, it's not really what you love, you need to move. You need to move on. You need to either start learning to enjoy the job that you're at, and do it well, or you need to find another job, or you need to find another position in the company, or you need to do something that is going to marry more so your personality type or kind of what your strengths